My kids and ex-wife have been making false allegations about me for the past 2 years, starting when my kids ran away and told the police I kicked them out, and now I don't want any part in my children's lives anymore. Posted by you/Returning Darkness. Hold on because this is a doozy. I'm going to omit some details to help keep myself from getting doxxed about this whole thing. Last year, my kids, 9F and 7M, ran away late at night/early in the morning. When found by some city officials, they claimed I kicked them out of the house. I woke up that morning to the cops and CPS knocking on the door. I told my side of the story from what I knew, and they had my, now ex-wife tell her side while keeping us separated. The cops claimed our stories didn't match and ended up arresting me. I bailed myself out that same day and went to live with my parents for a while. I was dealing with court, scared that I was going back to jail or prison and that I'd lose the job I had only been at for a year. A little over a month went by, and I got a phone call to have a meeting with the CPS woman in charge of our case. My daughter ended up making more allegations against me that did not make any sense to the CPS people, and when they asked her questions, she was unable to give them answers. My son ended up breaking first and admitting the whole thing was made up, and that my daughter was the one who orchestrated everything. This reveal led to the charges being dropped and my daughter getting counseling and psychiatric help. For a while, I thought things were good. We were on our way to fixing things. I kept trying to get all of us into therapy, both individually and as a family. I was already in therapy due to this whole situation anyway. My ex kept dragging her feet, and it never went anywhere. After some other situations with being displaced due to a natural disaster and me trying to get things packed up in our old apartment, I was told by my ex that she wanted a divorce. So now I was having to rush to find a place to live, which I did luckily. I actually move in tomorrow. On June 14th, I was served an emergency protection order by the county sheriff's office. I was told it was because I allegedly hit my son and gave him a concussion while in the grocery store, where there are cameras. He had been taken to the emergency room by my ex on the 14th, but this event allegedly happened on the 10th. I had told my ex that, due to me having to get this house to rent, along with utilities in my name, adding up to over $2,000, I wasn't going to be able to pay certain bills this month, but that I'd get them caught up as soon as I could to get everything paid off and even. I signed for the deposit on the 11th, and the kids had been with her while I did this paperwork, and there was no issue. That same morning, I had taken my kids to the park so they could play and recorded videos of them being silly and having fun. I was talking to my therapist this week, and I told her what was going on and how I felt about being around my ex or the children. It's 2 years in a row of false allegations. I want nothing to do with any of them now. I'll pay child support gladly. I had an agreement with my ex before this all happened to pay $1,000 a month, $500 per paycheck, for child support. After all of this, am I the jerk for not wanting to be around the children and my ex after everything gets settled and is found out to be lies again? Top/relevant comments. Additional info from Op. I posted this before I clocked in at work, so let me give some more details. My ex-wife and I were still together when the kids ran away last year. My side of the story during that was that I came home from work, talked with the kids and my wife, gave the kids their melatonin gummies before sending them to bed, after which I took a shower before making myself something for dinner and cleaning up afterward. By this point, my ex was already asleep, and so were the kids. When CPS and the mental health professionals were talking to my daughter after everything got cleared, she was saying the voices she was hearing were telling her to do things. The mental health professionals said this sounded too rehearsed to them. It was later revealed that she had been watching videos on YouTube about kids pranking their parents, and she wanted to try it out herself. She had access to YouTube due to tablets my mother-in-law had given the kids for Christmas back in 2023, which I disagreed with, but I was ignored. At the time, and to this day, I do not believe my ex had a hand in the running away situation. On to this year, my son went to the ER on the 14th because he had, and I quote from the paperwork I was given, dizziness, lightheaded feeling, and a nosebleed. I am not sure how he received a concussion. Nothing is finished with this situation yet, and nothing has been decided in terms of child support. We go back to court next month to revisit this after the investigation has finished. On the day I received the EPO, I talked to a state trooper and told him the kids' history, showed videos of my kids playing, and showed receipts on my banking app from when we were at Walmart and the time we were there. As of right now, I haven't heard anything else. I have already been interviewed by CPS and informed them of the same things I told the state trooper, because it is a different person on this case as my ex and kids live in a different county at the moment. This time, I firmly believe that my ex is behind this due to my telling her that some of the bills would have to wait because I'm having to pay approximately $2,500 to move, put down deposits, and pay first and last month's rent. I haven't seen my kids since I dropped them off to my grandparents on the afternoon of the 11th. I have not made a decision about staying away from my kids, but I do plan on talking to a lawyer in the next couple of days. I'm also looking into security for my house and a discreet body camera to wear, like many other users have suggested. I'll try to answer any other questions that I can, But I move tomorrow and I have some last minute things to pack up and place in my car and move downstairs. Thank you for all of your insights, words, thoughts, and prayers. It means a whole lot to me that I can't even put into words. Are Ops children his biological? Well, considering they look like I just clicked copy and paste. Did something happen at the grocery store that caused the son to have a concussion? Nothing happened at the grocery store, that's the thing. We went in, picked up some sweet tea and ramen, then left. Update 1 month later. So I have an update, along with answering some questions better from my previous post. When I first posted this, I was not in a good headspace, and I realized that I wasn't very clear. To be honest, I'm still not in a good headspace, but it's a little bit better. For starters, these false allegations started last year when my kids were 9 and 7. When I said 2 years, I meant calendar years. When I said I spoke to the police about my side of the story last year, I meant what happened the night before the police and CPS showed up at the front door. I had gotten home, spent some time with the kids and my ex, then wife, before giving the kids their melatonin gummies. This was done on an as-needed basis, mainly 2 to 3 times a week at most. After that, I took a shower, made myself some dinner, ate, and cleaned up the kitchen before spending more time with my then wife before we both went to bed. Due to a contraction happening when she was being given the epidural, she sleeps better propped up, so she slept on the couch while the kids and I slept upstairs. The next morning is when I woke up to the cops at the door with CPS. I was charged with child abandonment and arrested. It took over a month for the truth to come out about my kids making this up, due to the fact that my daughter was saying I was having sex with her. The CPS agent conducting the investigation tried to ask more details, and that's when my daughter started crying and admitted she made it up because she couldn't give details. The only reason my daughter even knew what sex was is because my ex and I were in the bedroom and we both thought the other locked the door, and my daughter walked in on us. Moving to now, I don't know how my son got this supposed concussion. We had court again on Monday, the 21st, and when the judge asked her, she told him, after talking with the state trooper, "We have decided to not press criminal charges." I asked the judge if there was any evidence that they had about what they're claiming I did, and he told me that since no charges were filed, there's no evidence gathered to give to me. I want to thank everyone for their answers on my last post. Thinking about those feelings was making me sick to my stomach, and I just needed some perspectives from people who weren't emotionally involved. I've thought about this since last month and I made the decision to tell the judge I want the divorce process and this EPO to be over and done with, and that I just want to be left alone. I'm still questioning if this was the right decision or not. I'm just not sure what else I could do. I work 12-hour days, 5 to 6 days a week. I have no way to take care of the kids, so I can't take them in. Even then, am I supposed to get to the point where the court system says supervised visits aren't needed anymore and just start wearing a body camera around the kids, and just be scared all the time? Looking over my shoulder constantly just to make sure that I'm not going to end up in jail again? We have a hearing set up for December to hopefully get everything finalized and finished. I keep thinking about the kids going trick or treating in 3 months, going back to school next month, how we won't be decorating Christmas trees together or making cookies for Santa, and I start crying all over again. I'm not sure what else I could have done that wouldn't have made me a paranoid mess 24/7. This will be the last update until December or January, I guess. Thank you again to everyone who said I wasn't the jerk for feeling this way. Have a good one, Reddit. Top/relevant comments. Did OpsX explain why she wanted the divorce? Her words were that she just isn't in love with me anymore and we've both become too different. She's religious, I'm not. We both have different views on things that we can't come to an agreement on. After last year, I wanted to get us into therapy and got some recommendations for marriage counselors. I gave her the list and said that I'd be fine with whoever she chose, so long as we worked on it. She never chose anyone and kept making excuses every time I asked. Commenter. Your daughter lied about you saying her, among many other allegations, and she says that she was motivated to behave the way that she did after she apparently watched a YouTube prank video? There is more to this story than your daughter is letting on. Either your ex-wife has coached your daughter well, or your daughter is incredibly manipulative at a very young age. Ops response. Everything I know I included. I'm dead certain there's stuff I don't know about, like you said. Commenter 2. If you don't mind the question, in your previous post, you mentioned how you were arrested because the cops claimed you and your wife's stories didn't match. Did you find out why they weren't the same, and why your wife wasn't arrested as well? Sorry you're going through this, Op. Op's response. No, I didn't. I have the police report, but all it says is, when asked if she believes he's capable of this, she answered, I don't know, I don't think so, I don't want to think about it. Did the daughter's tablet from Mill have parental controls? She apparently somehow found a way to get past it, from what I know about it. Like I mentioned in a different comment, I've told everything I know about the situation from my end. Op needs to get his kids in therapy, especially his daughter, and himself. I agree about both, and luckily I'm in therapy already. I've been in therapy since August/September of last year. Second update 8 days later. So this is a really small update that I wasn't expecting to make. I had left a voicemail for the CPS agent assigned to the current situation with my son, asking for an update on everything because I haven't heard anything since June. She had to look in her case notes, but everything has been found to be unsubstantiated. I should be getting the official paperwork in a few days to a week in the mail. I'm not sure how to feel about this, honestly. I'm relieved that the truth has come out about these allegations, angry that this has happened to me twice now, and happy that this is one step closer to being finished. I want to cry, but I couldn't tell you the specific emotion that's causing it. I'm taking some other Redditors' words to heart and putting in a request to my state police records department to get copies of any and all paperwork, evidence, or lack thereof, anything I can get my hands on from them. I'm also getting copies of my son's medical records so I can see exactly what was found back in June. I know a lot of you don't believe this, and I don't care. I have nothing to gain from lying about this. I'll gladly post pictures of the paperwork from CPS when it comes in, with all private information redacted, of course, to protect myself and my children. I know some of the details don't make sense between the OG post and the update, but like I saw one person mention in our /best of Redditor updates, which I love to read posts from and didn't expect my own to end up there, I'm just going into survival mode. I only just got a full-sized fridge 2 days ago. I only have an air mattress for a bed. I'm just tired. I want this over with. I want things to go back to January, when all I had to worry about was the fact I was recovering from a car wreck and couldn't even help take down the Christmas trees and get a new car.